back to the Real Fem Sapien YouTube channel where I give cultural commentary. If you're new here, my name is Aly. I have not been on YouTube as of late because I am a new mom. And as any American woman who is a new millennial mother would do, I went to go and see the Barbie movie with my new baby. And before you freak out because I
exposed my baby to feminist propaganda,
why don't you stick around and check out my analysis of the film, because I think that this is a huge conservative L for political commentators and cultural commentators out there who decided to make opinions for their audience before allowing their audience to see the films themselves and come to their own proper conclusions. So if you like this content, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, subscribe down below, and hit the notification bell. Before we get started, I am doing a giveaway. We are going to be giving away some candles from a Christian company over in Oklahoma. I really love the owner. She is very pro family values, Christian values, pro getting out of the matrix. So we want to support Paige. We want to support Belladonna candles. We are first going to be giving away cocoa butter cashmere. If you would like to enter the giveaway, make sure you follow my Instagram at RealFemSapien. Next, you want to make sure you are following at shop.belladonna. And then to complete your entry, you're going to share one of shop.belladonna's posts, whether that's a reel or a post, and then you're going to tag them in your story, send shop.belladonna proof, and we will get you a free candle. I'm telling you, these candles are amazing. They're a smooth burn. If you look in the description down below, you can use coupon code ALY10 at checkout for 10% off. And I haven't seen a better quality product candle-wise, so make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. Let's jump into this Barbie movie review. As I said earlier, I do think that it was a conservative L to come out and push the immediate groupthink opinion about the Barbie movie. Not everything has to be politicized, and quite frankly, I think people are tired of it. I think people are sick of it. I think that there is a new form of propaganda. I think it's outrage propaganda, and wokeism outrage can be definitely overdone. I know that things are frustrating right now. But sometimes you just want to breathe, relax, and have fun. And that is exactly what I did when I went to go see the Barbie movie with my husband. There were a couple of big themes surrounding womanhood that I think the Barbie movie tackled. Personally, myself, as a young girl, I was an avid Barbie player. I had Barbie, I had Ken, I had Kelly, and I made them into a little family. I begged my mom for Kelly's dream house. I eventually got Kelly's dream house. So I am all up in the mix, and I'm actually Barbie's target demographic audience for the film, in my humble opinion. I think that that is why Margot Robbie, who is 33 years old, is playing Barbie, when I think a lot of us would agree that probably the most beautiful, idealistic, archetypal woman would probably be between the ages of 18 and 24. However, I very much doubt that millennial women want to watch a film with a woman who's younger than them, and that would be very unrelatable, because you gotta think, millennials these days, we're entering into our mom era. A lot of women already have entered their mom era as millennials. So looking at that, some people online have come out and said,
oh, they're trying to normalize older women being attractive.
I disagree. I think they were just trying to find a relatable Barbie. Not that most women would be able to relate to Margot Robbie on a beauty level. However, there's a reason why Barbie was 33 and not 18. Moving on. There is an argument that some people are making that this film was targeted toward children, because I think the ads for the film were in some children's programs. However, I think that that might have been a way for advertisers to get to the moms that are watching, the children that are watching the shows. That's all I think that that was, because I think you have to have a certain level of intelligence to watch the Barbie movie. I think it is intended for preteens at the youngest, definitely women and older for the oldest. I don't think that this was a film particularly targeted toward men, although a lot of men seem to have opinions on it. And to those opinions, I just would like to say, for the men out there that are saying that Barbie was too feminist, that Barbie was too feminine, that it was man-hating. I'm just saying, imagine if women went to the Goodfellas premiere back in the day and complained because it was too manly. What did you guys expect from a Barbie film? Of course, it's going to have some women's empowerment feminist elements. Even I knew that walking in there, and I can't stand feminism, and I think it's evil and abhorrent, and I could critique it in so many different lenses, but video for another time. But I went in there to have fun and be a girl and turn my brain off, and I did. I turned my brain off a lot. It was great. Aside from the intended target demographic, I'm gonna go into what I liked about the film. I liked that it tackled elements about the wall and mortality. I think that the wall and mortality are pretty intertwined when it comes to women that are very opposed to the aging process. We don't really know how to age gracefully. We try to avoid it, try to get Botox, try to get fillers. The wall is a common phrase for when women realize that they have already peaked and passed their prime in regard to beauty. And it's not a pleasant experience. I think that's why you'll see even 70-year-old women don't enjoy being asked how old they are. You would think there would be a point where they wouldn't care, but they do. Or why some older women are offended if you're asking them if they're going through the change because they're getting moody. So that's the opening premise of the film, is that Barbie discovers that she is not as perfect as she was. Things are changing. She's not lucky. Her feet have become flat, and she discovers that she has cellulite. So she has to go over to the real world because she's in Barbie land. She has to go over to the real world to repair a space-time portal. So she has to go and find her owner in the real world, who is played by America Ferrera. That is a conclusion you get to later. And then there is a preteen daughter involved underneath America Ferrera. I found it to be a beautiful and cathartic experience watching these things that you tackle as an adult woman who is aging, going from being a maiden into becoming a mother, and then also knocking on the door of 30. Hi, hello, I am very close. Barbie, in a couple of instances, she is offered to return to Barbie land because she's finding the human experience a little bit much. At one point in the film, Will Ferrell, who is the CEO of Mattel, he offers for her to get back in a box to be transported back to Barbie land. Even though that's what she wants, she runs away for some reason. I think maybe because they had to continue the film. Don't get me wrong, there's parts of the plot that are kind of off, and I don't know why they were written the way they were written, but nonetheless, I really enjoyed it. But you can see her decision kind of shifts, and she ends up at the end of the film preferring to be a human, and she's warned by the Barbie creator Ruth, who named the Barbie doll after her daughter. She is offered to stay an idea, to stay Barbie, to stay perfect, or to become a human, to become a real girl. Sort of like a Pinocchio vibe, if you ask me. Barbie at the end does choose to be human because she wants to experience the complexities of that, which is a big shift from the beginning of the film. But maybe that is something where women are oblivious and not very self-aware, and they reach a point in life where they do become self-aware and they choose to either embrace it or to let it crumble them, because that was also part of the premise of the film, was that Barbie had to go and find her owner in the real world because her owner was a depressed, anxious, low self-esteem, middle-aged mom, which I also think that was done on purpose to be relatable to the intended female audience. People didn't like that that was how that mother was portrayed as the protagonist, but there are actually a lot of moms out there that don't have good self-esteem, and they end up passing it down to their daughters, which is a dynamic that you saw in that film. I will warn you, if you have a mother wound that you're working through, you're probably going to end up triggered by the film. I would not see the film if you have a dysregulated nervous system. I'll put it to you that way. If you can't handle the quips that are made in terms of feminism, in terms of the patriarchy, and then in terms of wokeism and conservatism, then, you know, maybe don't go. If you're going to rage, maybe don't go. That's just me though. But I did really enjoy that Barbie chose humanity at the end of it all. And the film ends with Barbie going to a gynecologist appointment. I have heard the critique of that instance where they're saying that a woman's humanity is being reduced to her vagina. I disagree. I think it's Barbie becoming a real girl, a real woman, and embracing something that's very mundane. To biological women, we are not that excited to see the OBGYN, but to Barbie, she's like, oh, I finally get to do this thing that other women get to do. That was my take. People can have opposing takes. Women are born with their value, and a lot of that value is tied to biology, so I don't know why there would be that much pushback. I also think it might have been a dig at male to female folks that are transitioning or have transitioned that are trying to say we are women, and then it's like, well, you know, maybe you're not. But I'm not sure, because I think that this film was written in a way that both liberals and conservatives could enjoy it. I went in there thinking that it was much more conservative than I suspected. Unintentionally based is the line that I've been hearing from my audience in terms of describing what the film might have been. I think if you went there as a leftist, you felt validated. I think if you went there as a conservative, you felt like you could laugh at leftists. There's a scene in there that people don't like where the Barbies have to go at war with the Kens, because when Barbie and Ken, they went together, they went to the real world, Ken got exposed to the patriarchy, which in my opinion was very funny. I liked it, it was a cool journey. But when he goes back to Barbie land earlier than Barbie, he tries to create a Kendom, and there is this new world where the Kens are in charge and they're running society, and the Barbies are serving the Kens, and doing so quite joyfully, might I add. It seemed like they were relieved to be serving the Kens. At some point in the film, though, it does become apparent that the Barbies are going to want to take over Barbie land again because they want to kick the boys with cooties out of the clubhouse. A lot of folks think that the film was man-hating. I did not think that it was man-hating. I think it made fun of men. I think it made fun of men a lot. I think that if there was a male equivalent of that film, then we would see a lot of jokes about women that men don't get to say out loud because we live in the times that we do, and locker room talk is typically reserved to locker rooms unless, you know, ESPN is putting a female commentator in the space, and that's gone so well. Putting myself through a lens of having been a girl who played with Barbie, who became a millennial woman, it was my impression that the men were just the boys with cooties, and we didn't want them in our Barbie land, in our Barbie house, in our dream house. We just didn't want them there. But it seems like women used to be able to have women's spaces and men used to be able to have men's spaces, but not anymore. So I did like that little play. That's another testimony to the duality of the film. If you went in with certain biases, you probably saw one thing. If you went in with other biases, you saw another. So the Barbies get together and they go to take back Barbie land from the Kens because it's too manly and they're over it. So their plan is to basically pit the Kens against one another by having their own Ken that they're paired with, because they are paired off in a sense. Each Barbie has a Ken. They go against their paired Ken and go and flirt with another Ken, and that gets the group infighting and distracts the men, the Kens, while the women go back to reinstate the matriarchy, which I don't know why people didn't like that scene. I think maybe because it was an uncomfortable truth, because how else would women stage a coup in that way? They would clearly use their sexuality as their power to distract men in order to do that. Plenty of female leaders in past history have done the same thing. That's why women can be portrayed as predatory in some ways, and as vixens and sirens. That's exactly what happened. But a lot of folks took issue with that and found it to be a disturbing scene. I think it was true to life. I think that's exactly what women would do if their queendom was taken over by a Kendom. Ken going and seeking conquest in Barbie land, I actually thought was very cool because he only got a couple of glimpses of the patriarchy and he did some research, and so he had a minimal amount of tools and he said, okay, let me go and take over Barbie land. I think that that was a very masculine thing to do, to have that pursuit and say, I want to expand my influence and my power. I thought that it was cute. Other people could think that it's evil, maybe as a form of toxic masculinity, but I don't even think there's such a thing as toxic masculinity. I think that's also reading into it way too much. I think that there are men who have a bad relationship with masculinity and there are women that have a bad relationship with femininity. That's all it is. I just think it's very manly of him to read a couple books and go and try to expand his dominion when he went back to Barbie land. And Ken also seemed to be looking for respect, which is something that he got in the real world that he didn't get in Barbie land. Another thing that was pretty interesting about Barbie land was that it was completely female ran, which it's gonna be a feminist utopia. Why wouldn't it be? They even had the trash men and the construction workers as Barbies, which is different than what you would see in the real world. Barbie's actually shocked when she goes to a construction site in the real world and finds out how manly it is. I think it's funny. Just be mindful, Don't let influencers and algorithms form every single opinion for you, because right now, what gets the clicks is short attention, short explanations, and rage. Do you really want to be solely influenced by that? Honestly, it's pretty worldly. Go and form opinions of art yourself. There's a couple of movies that I think that are coming out that might actually be good. I'm worried they might not be. I don't know yet, but we're gonna find out. Two of the previews that I saw when I was waiting for the Barbie movie to start, I saw that there was a new Haunted Mansion. It looked cute, the actors look cute. I don't know if it's inherently woke. It might be. It's a very diverse cast. We'll have to find out. And then The Color Purple is being redone, and they have Fantasia, and I love Fantasia. I don't know if it's gonna be woke. Honestly, I think The Color Purple was fine the way that it was. I just like art. I like art from different cultures, different communities, but you won't catch me simping for no ethnic group, because people are ungrateful. You could say, I really like this about your culture, and they'll just like stab you in the back later. Moving on. If you liked the Barbie film, don't feel bad. You can still be a conservative, you can still be a Christian and have enjoyed the film. That's the point sometimes in life, is to kick back. It's actually a very feminine thing to do, is to enjoy yourself. Before we continue, let's hear from a channel sponsor. Just kidding, it's me. I'm the channel sponsor. Hi, if you want to support the platform and you want to sponsor the next video, go ahead and subscribe over to my Substack. Paid subscribers, you are welcome to request video topics at any point in time or to sponsor future videos, and I will be able to shout you out at the end of these things. This is purely community supported. Substack is a platform that takes the smallest cut out of all the platforms that I'm on, and we know not that many folks are making a buck off of YouTube. Why do you think the content is watered down and horrible? Why? Now here's what I didn't like about the Barbie film. With that being said, you all know about censorship on the tubes. That is you. So if you want my full, unfiltered, uncensored, politically incorrect take on what I didn't like about the Barbie movie, make sure you are over on my Substack, because there's just some things I can't say on here anymore. Alrighty, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.